Ready to go? All right. So this truck's name is Sally. I forgot to mention it before. So we are live from Sally. There's lots going on, so we got interrupted, but we want to do a little wrap up. And you know, maybe a good thing to say is like, if you had the mic and you talk to, if you had a microphone for the world, not just for Canada, because I really think this is transcending Canada now. And whatever you're seeing, these little things starting to kind of come up in different countries, I think is only the tip of the iceberg, because we're not even seeing the truth from in Ottawa. Yeah. So imagine how hard it is for us to see the truth from around the world. So if, you know, if the world is listening, what would you tell them? What would you tell someone that doesn't really know much about this? What can the average person who's not in Ottawa do? And it can be anything. Like, and if you can't think of something, that's fine too. But like, what would you say to people that are listening from around the world, whether it's fellow Canadians or just people around the world who are ready to claim their freedom? What would you say to them?
I was gonna say, I'm loving how it again started in Canada, but also this is not about Canada anymore. It started a domino effect. We're seeing so many countries. We're seeing the US starting, Netherlands, there's a UK, there's so many, Australia starting a convoy. And again, people I think are waking up. People are realizing that, hey, you gotta stand up for this. It's been 2 years. We gotta take our freedoms back. We need our countries back. And it's, honestly, if I gotta tell everybody one thing, is stand strong, hold the line. It'll come. With perseverance, it'll come. Whatever you want will happen. So stand strong, you'll get your freedom back, guys.
Yeah.
This to me, like what I see when I see trucks and when I speak to people like yourselves, is like, you're taking responsibility. I think most people have forfeited responsibility for their health, for their freedom, for all that stuff, because it's comfortable and it's easy until you're cornered and you have nothing that you can do. This is taking responsibility for claiming freedom that actually never got taken from us. We just didn't claim it.
Yes.
And assert our claim that no,
100%.
you are not crossing that line. You've crossed this for, Canadians are very polite. We're 2 years polite, but we're done.
We're done. Well,
Sarah, what would you say?
I was gonna say, like, we're in this position right now because we haven't held our leaders and our politicians accountable.
Yeah.
And that is why we are here, is because we thought that they had our best interests at heart. They have proven to us that that's not necessarily the truth in a lot of aspects. So if you're a kid and you're watching this and you wanna know what you can do, when you go to school, do not be afraid to ask questions to your teacher. You know, I'm not saying to be rude. I'm not saying to, you know, point fingers and call names. Like, we don't want that, but always ask questions, be curious, and don't be afraid of the truth, because, you know, numbers don't lie, facts don't care about feelings. Again, feelings, that's another subjective thing. Right? So always ask questions, be curious, be willing to hear the other side of the story. You know, that's how we can kind of come to agreements and negotiations. That's how we make friends. You know, the world goes around because we're all so different, right? And then if you're an adult and you see something that's not right, don't be afraid to stand up for it. Just because there's a law, a mandate, a rule of some sort, it doesn't mean it's right. You know, we all have a moral obligation to, you know, to look after ourselves, to protect our children. And like I said at the beginning, we're in this place because we didn't hold our politicians responsible. We just accepted everything. We accepted that we had to shut down. We accepted all of these rules, all of these mandates, without asking ourselves, like, is this actually good for me personally? Is this good for my health? And that conversation was never had. You know, even now we're having a difficult time getting a hold of our own prime minister because he's not willing to have that conversation. Like, it's uncomfortable, but you can't sit in your bubble and be comfortable your whole life. That's how you grow. You have to cross that line. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You know, people don't become great athletes and great painters, great artists without stepping outside of their comfort zones. Like, that's what we have to be willing to do. Let those phones ring, you know, calls, emails, texts. Let your politicians know we're here with the air horn to be loud because we've been silenced, right? That's why those phones weren't ringing enough. Those emails were not, the little protests of people, they were not big enough. So we're here to be big and be loud.
And it's always, somebody's got to start it, and usually, like you saw, we started in Canada, a lot of other countries followed. Even one truck started. I remember talking to a bunch of the truckers that were coming from Nanaimo or on the island in Vancouver. They started off with 3 trucks. 3 trucks were on the ferry coming to cross over, and I remember talking to the guys. They were telling us their
What are
story,
we
and they're
doing?
like, they were questioning themselves, right? They're like, what are 3 trucks gonna do? But all it takes is 3 trucks, and then you got thousands coming behind you. All it takes is that one person, stand up for yourself, and you can join. And then, as you saw, it became to, I don't know if Guinness World Record has made it official yet, but they were saying it's the longest convoy in the entire world. That's how you get the people behind you. It just takes one person.
Yeah.
Do what you think is right, and the people will
Yeah.
come behind you. People will see the truth, and the truth will come out.
Not everyone can do everything, but everyone can do something.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That
Yeah.
is so true. And I think everyone acknowledges that bullying is wrong,
Yep.
right? Like fundamentally, if you have a conversation with most people, it doesn't matter what their perspective is. It's like
Yeah.
bullying is wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, well, how do you define bullying? And if you
that's a
suck
good
that out of people and you connect the fact that we have been bullied by a minority group of people called politicians
Yeah.
to do things that are terrible for our health, that have separated our families, that have divided us, that have tried to instigate hate among us. Like, this is the reality of what we're facing. And now we're saying it's done. And we're saying no, and we're doing it together, and we're doing it peacefully, and we're doing it the Canadian way, and we're doing it with
Yes,
love.
the Canadian
And this
way.
is how it works. This
Yeah.
is how we lead the world, because the first domino is the hardest one to move, but the
Yeah.
momentum that comes after that is
Unstoppable.
insane.
Yeah.
I trust humanity, and I know that they're going to prevail. And thank you for starting this off, because without that first domino, we're still staying put.
Yeah.
So thank you for being the spearhead of the first domino. We're here to take care of you. We are so incredibly grateful. I'm sure everyone watching this will share the sentiment, and we look forward to hearing more stories in future. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For sharing a
Thank
story,
you,
man.
guys.
Cheers.